Good Thursday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you for joining us, guys. A little rainy outside, but I'll tell you what, maybe it kind of alleviates some of the humidity we're going through here in the Commonwealth and certainly in Central Virginia. Today's show is going to be awesome. Today's the 1st of July, so some new laws and legislation goes into play, specifically tied to cannabis. We now in the Commonwealth can have an ounce or less on our person of cannabis, of marijuana, and 4 plants grown at home. We're a bit of ways away from retail. However, we have some dispensaries that are positioning themselves very strategically in the market. They will start with CBD, maybe some other products that are on the supply chain of cannabis, not the seeds and not the flower itself, but that could be down the road. We're going to enlighten you on a topic that is going to be, it's going to dominate the news cycle. I mean, it's already been dominating the news cycle this year. So without further ado, Judah Wickhauer, our director, let's go to the studio camera and let's welcome Joanna here.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
I'm really happy to be here.
It's great to have you. It is great to have you. And my friend David. How are you, David?
Jerry, the answer to that question is always the same. It's amazing. Thank you so much for letting me be here, and I'm so appreciative of it. So thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. David's passion and energy is contagious. You will see that in a matter of moments. Before we get to David, ladies first. Joanna, introduce yourself to everybody. Let's talk what interests you, what you're all about, and then let's talk the business.
Okay. I'm Joanna Bressan. I'm a native to Charlottesville, Virginia, born and raised. Very involved in the food industry all of my life. Very passionate about food. When CBD came out 5 or 6 years ago, I got into that too and became very passionate about it. So when the pandemic happened, I just started to start playing around and start making some spa items, and then I decided when I met the right people that I was going to move forward and start a little business and call it Jojo's Apothecary. So I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about that, and I'm really happy that Jerry and David David reached out especially to have me on board, and I just feel so honored and grateful to be here.
Thank you, Lauren Koch, for sharing the show. You got both TV stations watching the program as we speak. David, let's get you in the mix here. Before we talk business, how about the family man you are, your previous entrepreneurial endeavors?
Yes.
I want to thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you.
The show is yours, my friend.
So, for those who know me, I'm David Treccariche, born and raised in Charlottesville, grew up on Agnes Street right off Rye Road, the whole 9 yards. For Charlottesville City Schools, great education, I believe. And after it's actually funny how the story matches. My wife and I, Kirsty, we got married at 18 when I was in the Army. She came down to Texas with us, but we actually met in Joanna's father's class. Those of the UVA football player Bobby Bressan at K-Tech is where we met in culinary arts, and then went after graduation of high school, went to the Army, went to Iraq. Really enjoyed that experience, just getting to emulsify myself into another culture. The kids, the food, everything in Iraq was just great. It was just such a hairy times and stuff, but it's all positive. Whatever experience you go through, you kind of just you take it in stride. And came home to Charlottesville after the Army, my wife and I started Montrell Motors.
Yeah, that's where I first met you.
Right, we met
Montrell Motors.
Probably, what was that, 6-7 years ago, I think?
At least,
yeah,
probably maybe longer. And I'm gonna jump in here. I was taken aback by this man's incredible customer service. So he had Montrell Motors on Route 29. I ended up buying a Volvo cross country from Madison Motors, which was further up 29. I stopped by his business at the time. He went out and greeted me with this smile, with the same energy I was immediately drawn to. It was contagious. Then he said, "You know what? I'll do this on me." Because I had yet to sign on the dotted line for the Volvo cross country. It was one of those times where it was like, drive for a day,
right,
and see if you want. He goes, "Let me do a Carfax." I'll do it on me. Check out the
Yeah.
Carfax. And he spent 20 minutes with me, despite this vehicle not coming from his dealership. And dude, I knew literally then at that time that anything that you were going to do in your life, that you were going to be like a success at.
Awesome.
I
Thank you
was
so
like,
much.
wait, if you were willing to go out of your way and give to somebody else, even though that person was purchasing a vehicle from someone
Yeah.
else, I was like, good God, this guy is a fantastic businessman.
Yeah.
What did
Yeah.
you learn from Montrell Motors experience?
So Montrell Motors, I dove in. I think I was 22. when
You
it
were
started.
young.
I think 22.
Wow. Oh my
I
gosh.
started with I called it my Iraq money because tax free. So it was like $10,000 in what I thought at the time, and still it's a considerable amount of money, but it was just just hard earned money from making 30 grand a year in the Army, just busting your butt, and then luckily when you're deployed it's tax free, so I was able to save it. So that $10,000 and a $10,000 cash advance on a credit card, and I went full steam ahead. Stu Rifkin, where I worked for him at the Nook in high school, he was my leasing agent, and he got me to sit in front of the landlord, the late Mr. Kirby.
Gene?
No,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Kirby at the
Okay.
and then got him and Bill Howard to believe in this 22-year-old kid with nothing, not a pot or anything. And it just did, it was stressful at first, but we just, I just got better and better at it. And then I was able to hire more and more help. And I was really just didn't know anything about really business, but I just knew how to take care of people. And the business came and then did really well. And then when we were approached, we had my beautiful wife, Kirsty, and I had two awesome kids under the age of 2. We kind of 16 months apart. So, 2 toddlers under the age of 2, and someone coming to you waving a check like, hey, we want to buy your business. It was like, take it. So
That's what happened?
That's what happened. Yeah. So it was just kind of like one of those things the business was great. I was doing well, and looking back, I could have scaled it and hired more, but it was just so nice to alleviate some of that and spend time with the wife and kids. Well, that's when Gordon Sutton hired me over at Tiger Fuel to help run their car wash division with Rex Lake, who's been with Tiger, just like a lot of their employees for a very long time, which says something to the way they operate. But yeah, and it just kept going. I want.
That was great.
That was
Great.
awesome.
Yeah. Let's get
Yeah.
Joanna in the mix. Frankie, is it Viviano? Is
Yes.
giving you some
Hey,
props.
hey Frank.
Kevin Turlip. giving
Yeah,
you
it's my
some
best
prop
friend.
right now.
Yeah.
So you guys have a connection. He touched on this briefly. He was taking a class from your dad?
Yeah, so my dad was culinary arts instructor for about 13 or 14 years at K-Tech.
Mr. B.
He actually my dad was an entrepreneur. He had a catering business called Bob Bressan Catering, had it for 30 years. It did very well, but he wanted to do something different. So he's taught culinary arts, and he taught culinary arts to me too. But when Dave and I connected, he was like, are you Bobby Bressan's daughter? And I'm like, I am. He's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what he thinks about me, but I was in his class. and my dad loved him and his wife. And it's funny, I kind of remember David because I remember popping into my dad's classes sometimes and helping out with baking or catering and all that. So we have crossed paths before, and it just kind of so happened the universe kind of made things happen with the CBD industry right now, and it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
So the flip book of Jojo's say the word for me?
Apothecary.
Apothecary.
Yeah.
Give me the flip book of this. What was the aha moment where you realized this was a business?
When I met my friend Joe Kuhn, who I love. He's a mentor of mine.
He's come on the show twice. He's a rock star.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
And Lee, they're my good friends. And he saw potential in me, and he put me up to a challenge, and I did it. And I proved to myself, especially, that I can do this. Because when I learned, Albemarle Cannabis Company sells Jojo's Apothecary, and it sells very well and people love it. And it's only been around for a little less than a year, but I noticed that when I kind of got my name out there and started trying to do the wholesale market, that I had a lot of potential to make this work. And the whole concept of my business is to create fine quality CBD products for an affordable price, because one thing for me, I realized within 5 or 6 years, I was spending so much money with CBD. I was like, I've got to be able to make this. And so I started making it, and I realized, I was like, I have it, and all the recipes I have are from my mind, and because I'm like that with food. I was a chef for a school for a bit, and I always experimented with spices and flavors, and I do the same thing with aromatherapy. And so I started the Apothecary during the pandemic. Especially, I've got a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I was like, well, I can't get a job right now. I might as well just try to help make a product to help other people relax, because everybody's so stressed out right now.
That's amazing.
So I started doing that, and everybody was so supportive, and I was able to make it into a little small business. So here I am today on this show, and I would never thought in a million years this would ever happen. Ever. So it's exciting.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you in a second about being a mom.
Okay.
Well, we're all parents here. Parenthood, the best, hardest thing ever, the longest, shortest thing ever. More on that in a moment. You guys can give props to Joanna and to David by putting comments in the feed. Folks like Kevin, is it Granis is giving you some props? Yeah.
We served in the Army together. He was my team leader, so.
He says you're a superstar.
Yeah, we served in Iraq together. Thank you, Granis.
Leah Baker says, go David.
Awesome, thank you,
Kayla
Leah.
Kirby says, go David, go David T. All right, let me throw this to you. Skooma. Introduce everybody to Skooma.
So, Skooma is the place to go. And I don't want to we'll start with this. No, it's the place to go when you come. You're just going to know that you're taken care of, right? So we have good products that'll take care of you, right? Internally, right? But when you walk in that door, it's so much more than that. I feel like, why do we have to, does the only benefit have to be the product? Why can't the interaction be? So that's why we have, good staff to communicate with you, educate you, because there's a ton of questions. I know a lot of people watching right now are like, what is going on? They don't, that's fine. Bring all those questions, bring your spinning head, come inside. It's a very comfortable, relaxing atmosphere. It does not matter what your background is. If you're in there, our number one goal is to make you feel comfortable, and, we'll just take everything else from there. And, if it works out for you and you want to try our products, we love to sell them to you, because there's truly good benefits. And ask anyone. You don't have to take anyone's opinion. Ask someone who tries it. And I'm confident in saying that, because it's funny. People are like, oh, I've tried it for. I've been doing it for years on my knees, or I've been doing it for anxiety, or So it's just such a good thing to bring to the community. And I think if you bring it in a platform to where the interaction with purchasing it is priority, just making sure a good,
You're talking customer service.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
He wants good customer service.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me ask you this question. Today's your grand opening.
Correct.
Day one.
Day one.
We walk into Skooma on the downtown mall. It's located next to Rapture Restaurant.
Correct.
It's a boutique dispensary. You walk in there.
Correct.
What can you buy on day one?
You can buy, and I'll have Joanna go through all of her product line. I don't want to steal any of her thunder, because she knows it and she's a subject matter expert on it, and I completely defer to her. But as far as being able to take care of everyone, we have different options. So we have, if you're just looking for a quick pre-roll just to kind of chill you out, calm you down, we have both CBG, CBD, Delta 8. We have flower. We have disposable carts. We have the carts that you can put on your own battery. We have, she'll keep the list going, but there's just different, because everyone likes to experience stuff differently, and so we want to give you
options.
Yeah, options. So, and we have glass. Joanna, can you please share with people your amazing product? Because
you're so sweet.
Yeah.
I make fine quality CBD spa products. Everything is locally sourced, as local as I can get it.
Cool.
The fun part about my product is I use a CBD isolate, which is a pure form of CBD, and it's oil soluble. So I will mix the oil and the isolate together, and then that's my base for all of my products. There's always going to be a coconut MCT oil in it. So my first product is my favorite product. They're all my favorite, but especially my massage candle. I've got a Eucalyptus CBD massage candle. Comes in a 16-ounce jar. There's 250 milligrams of CBD in it. It has a layer of almond oil, vitamin E oil, soy wax with a coconut MCT oil with my CBD isolate with the eucalyptus.
So wait, is that you light the candle?
Yeah, it's a bamboo wick and you light it, and after 10 minutes of lighting it, it evenly melts down and you pour on the back and you just start massaging. And one pouring will be about a good 30-minute massage.
Wow.
Yeah.
So so we have that. So smokables, massage oils. We have CBD infused honey, and we have tons of different products and manufacturers, and that's what I chose to spend my time on really two things, on building this business, because there's any business owner will tell you there's 1,000 fires you're always trying to put out, and you just really need to delegate your time and energy where it needs to be best, and you can. Everything else will fall in place. So the two biggest things I wanted to focus on were location and, but more importantly, the quality of the product. So every product in Skooma on the downtown mall, you walk in there, we will gladly provide you, whether it's physical copy or email, more information, and more importantly, COAs, which certificate of analyses.
Okay.
So you can tell this is not like stuff you're just getting or like, where is this? It gives you a full breakdown, a third-party chemical lab test analysis on heavy metals, pesticides. It has all the different cannabinoids broken down in percentages. And we actually, who watches the Watchmen? So, we actually go a little bit further and have other COAs done just to make sure that everything's driving, right? So we just want to make sure that we're giving you the best.
Above and beyond.
Right. So you can.
And that's big because the first time some folks may have encountered CBD could be, say, potentially at a gas station.
Right.
Next to the register.
Right.
And in that situation, you don't know of the quality CBD.
Right.
And I'm not trying to knock anyone's
No.
anybody. But having transparency breeds accountability.
It's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
You want to jump in here on accountability and transparency?
So accountability for me is always local. That's just the way to go. If I'm going to be getting any of my Delta 8 products, I don't just walk into a head shop, first of all, because there's just so much. I do, but I used to. But there's sometimes just so much going on in there. You don't really know who made it, where it was grown, where it was extracted. And that's why I like working with Admiral Cannabis Company, because they have a whole system set up and it's great. So locally sourced is the way to go, in my opinion. I'm sure Charlottesville would agree with me. And also what I like is because Virginia has legalized cannabis, so many farmers are getting on board right now with starting just growing hemp all over the place, and that's a good start for us. But I feel like also with Delta 8, with it being a new product right now, a lot of people don't know a lot about it.
Okay, so that just came in. It says, Jerry, can you ask your guests to even explain what Delta 8 is?
Absolutely. So Delta 8 is an extraction. It's derived from the hemp.
Okay.
It is not derived from cannabis 9 or Delta 9. So it's extracted from a hemp, and it's then processed into extraction, oil, isolate, distillate, all of that. So one thing people are misunderstanding, because it's so new, that Delta 8 is not a strain of cannabis. It's derived, it's made in the lab. But the thing is that why I personally like going to local Delta 8 is the Delta 8. So I love Joe Kuhn and Leanne's Delta 8 gummies.
I just tagged both of them on the feed.
Their gummies are the best, and I have tried a lot of different gummies, and honestly, theirs just hits the spot. So their recommended dose is a half to a third, and like honestly, you eat a third or a half, and you're really good off of that. You don't need much more than that. It's locally made at Brand Strax, which is owned by Axie Blunden, who's also in the hemp industry. He's from Charlottesville. That is where our Delta 8 is sourced. So we know where we're getting it from. A lot of people, they don't really know where their Delta 8's coming from, and there's a lot of different hype and hysteria about it because it's so new right now. Out west, it kind of has a bad rep, honestly, it does, but out here, it's a little bit different. But honestly, what people need to understand that it's an extraction, but it's awesome. And I always call it my weed light. I don't have to get googly-eyed or all that high, and I get the benefits I'm looking for, especially pain management. But it's so new, and a lot of people are learning about it, but there's going to be Delta 10 soon, and that's something else we're all going to have to learn about together because that will be new. So. Yeah.
Yeah. So, great. Thank you, Joanna, so much for. So like, if the short and sweet, my 30-second elevator pitch is, it's not marijuana, but it still has, psychoactive effects, not as intense, less anxiety, less, and it doesn't last as long.
Sure.
So it's not one of these things like, you're all day long. It's something that, once you enjoy it and consume it, like, it dissipates a little bit quicker. But yeah, like you said, like marijuana light or diet weed, that's the wait for it. But it is naturally derived from CBD.
I was going to say also one thing I was going to add. A lot of people get confused because you can smoke the Delta 8. So the Delta 8 is I'm not going to say sprayed because that sounds just not a polite way to say it, but it is drizzled on top of the CBD flower, and that's how we get to smoke the Delta 8, or you can get it in cartridges.
Is it Hovader, giving you some props right now on the show. I tagged Lee and Joe, big fans of them. Your page,
Skooma,
your page is doing. Ashley Christine Smith says, "We love you, David. You are doing great things." This question has come in, and I'm sure you get this question all the time. When or are you going to be a dispensary for cannabis, as 99% of people know this? This is down the road.
So down the road, so, I believe it.
Sooner before 2024.
I think a lot of people do. Yeah.
I think
so I believe, like, I'm a very positive person, and sometimes it could, like, take people off. But, like, so I believe whatever you speak into existence is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of unknown, and that's why they put that 2024 date out there, is because they don't want the mistakes they made in D.C. with, like, this, like, arbitrary, weird gifting law where they're still selling it, but there's no tax revenue. So luckily, Virginia's like pumping the brakes a little bit. They're like, all right, look, we need to do this the right way. I'm totally in support of that, making sure it's done fair and equitable. And that's how it's looking like the licensing is going to go. So I'm very grateful that our current legislation wants to go in that direction. And I hope that, I can secure one of those licensing to offer more products to our customers, so that when someone comes to Skooma, again, options, and I want you to feel comfortable, and I want, if it's someone you're on the downtown mall, if you're about to go to a dinner or a show or movie or concert, come by and see us, just walk around, talk to us. You don't even have to get anything, you're just welcome, so. A
lot I want to cover with you on that.
Sorry,
so today on Richmond Biz Sense, and I would encourage you to go both to richmondbizsense.com.
Okay.
The lead article on Richmond Biz Sense is about the Commonwealth of Virginia creating a cannabis agency to regulate this budding, pun intended, industry. So this, I found this very appealing. There could be as many as 400 retail licenses issued for cannabis, 450 cultivation licenses, 60 manufacturing licenses, 25 wholesale licenses statewide. And this board is going to determine who gets these licenses. Yeah. And it's expected that people can apply for a marijuana business license by 2023, with the hopes of 2024, this being able for retail purchase. So, dude, this is where I want to go with this.
Yes.
Really on
400 retail licenses?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, but it's still going to be competitive, or at least I'm going to approach it in a competitive manner because I want to make sure I solidify that license.
So what's the path? What's the strategy?
So the path, the strategy, and I think there's only one way to get there. So like, I don't want you to think that this is why I'm doing it, but I feel like if we do our core values correctly, the path will take us. And the path is, I want to be able to share this, good customer service, good energy with as many people as possible. So multiple locations there, and you'll see when you come into Skooma downtown, it's very clean, neat. You're not overwhelmed with inventory and product on the walls, and you're like head spinning because there's incense and t-shirts and this and this. Don't get me wrong, that's awesome. Those head shops, they've been the bread and butter, and I've spent a lot of money there. And if you spend money there, keep spending money there. There's a big enough pie for all of us.
A traditional head shop would be like what Culture in Richmond is known for one. Roots Rock Reggae on the corner.
Right.
The one I
They're
grew up
awesome.
with,
They're
on the corner. Lloyd, rest in power, Lloyd, for Roots Rock Reggae. Yours is different though.
Right.
The
So
vibe when you get into yours is not like you said, tie-dye, Bob Marley shirts, Rasta, clothes. You're gonna have glass. You've already mentioned.
Correct.
For sale.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. What else?
So we have the displays. So you walk in, all the displays are there's you can't like get in them or touch anything like that. But and they're not overwhelming. So like if you go into some places and you're just like, I want to get that, and they're like this one, and you're like no, that one, and they're like this one, and you're like no, this one, and then we kind of spread it out and give each one of our products their own space. And we have cards that have information on there with CBD percentages and Delta 8 percentages and recommended use instructions and dosage and the brand. It's funny like that one. The biggest. We have Pyramid. I've got a buddy who's got a really good CBD brand in DC, Pyramid, and whereas Joanna does like the local approach, and I love that, and that's why I had to have her, is because I need, I want the local subject matter expert to be on my team, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and then I also have, more like national CBD providers, which, whatever floats your boat, just come in and we'll take care of you. But I'm sorry, I get distracted. What were we talking about?
Well, you answered it. We were comparing and contrasting your dispensary and the modern elements.
The pie is big enough. So we don't want to take anyone else's slice of the pie. I think it's big enough, and of course it's growing.
Yeah.
Like we just want to be fair and equitable when we to our employees. And one of the first things I told Jojo was like, look, in order for us to do business, like it needs to be every part of the supply chain needs to be like greased properly. Like everyone needs to be happy. There can't be anyone from the cultivators, growers, distributors, manufacturers, the sellers, my employees, like everyone in there has to be taken care of to a certain level of like decency. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. But I believe if we do that, it will allow us to grow and expand. And the thing is, and that's the reason we picked Downtown Mall. Actually, my wife's idea, Kirsty. I'm not even going to steal it from her.
She's watching the show. Better give credit where credit is due.
So her credit is, the Downtown Mall. That gives us an opportunity to see all walks of life,
for real,
all backgrounds, and we're going to actually use that to our advantage. To when we help people and when we're developing our second and third location, we're going to see our clientele and come to their neighborhood or come to what's convenient to them. We just want to build it, and we want to grow local business with us. We want to grow with our customers. We opened up, and then came here like an hour after we opened, which was so weird of all my businesses. I'm like, what am I doing leaving my baby on day one? But it's important for you guys to know that.
Can I say
sorry,
something?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say what I really like about David's Boutique Dispensary. When you walk in, you don't feel overwhelmed. You feel like you're in a top-notch dispensary. Now, in the middle of his store, you'll find 3 or 4 little sections, and he has moon rocks in there right now. Those look awesome. I've never heard of Delta 8 moon rocks. But there's a little display case with a magnifying glass. You can look in, and then you push this button, and you can smell it. And that's pretty nice to be able to get that option, to be able to smell and look before you buy
Transparency,
it.
yeah.
And there's a lot of room, everything is displayed a particular way, which I like that. So I wanted to tell you, it looks awesome, guys. You got to come check it out. When you see it, will blow your mind.
I'm going to throw this to you. When I said Cannabis Retail 2024, you immediately said, hopefully sooner.
Oh,
think
in my spirit,
no,
so
everyone on set is with you with that.
I'm in my spirit. I feel like they've made a little boob, like they didn't think things. I think they moved it so quickly, but they skipped some things. Like
for example,
retail.
Okay.
So we can have up to an ounce. Right, but we can grow up to 4 plants. Well, I know that
4 plants is more than a zip.
Exactly. So
that's what you're saying,
the thing is that what about the people that don't want to grow and just want to just have their flower? Do they have to illegally buy it to have it with them, right? And I think when they all meet again, whoever they are, I don't know, like whoever runs Virginia, they're probably getting a better team from. I imagine right now, if I was in their shoes, I would be getting a team from out west that knows what's going on.
I will say this before we go any further, and I don't mean to interrupt you here.
Okay.
3 delegates routinely watch this program.
Awesome.
Okay, just giving you a heads up on that.
Okay.
3 of them routinely watch the show. Okay, back to you.
But I was, oh gosh, I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, we were just talking about how retail right now is 2024.
But in my spirit, I feel like when they meet next year, they're going to be like, I think they're going to push a little bit quicker.
I think so too.
Because adult use was supposed to be 2024.
100%.
Yeah.
I 99.9% think it's going to be before 2024, but I could be wrong. That's just my spirit. Because I really feel like when you kind of go over legalization and what is legal and what's not right now, it kind of is a gray market a little bit. Because I know I'm not going to be growing any pot. I know that like if I'm going to want to buy it, I don't want to illegally buy it either. And I don't, unless I got a medical card, but that's just a whole other for people that are just trying to figure it out that don't want to grow. Yeah. But yeah, in my spirit, I am sure a lot of people feel that way too. I think they're just going to push for it and let's do the thumbs up. Let's get this going, and everybody will be ready. Everybody in this industry is just getting ready right now.
Paul McCarter, the realtor,
hey, Paul,
says your wife is also your better 7/8, not your better half, but your better 7/8. Giving props to your wife right there. Get it? How about dot the I's and cross the T's on what we were just talking about with, do you think legalization or retail legalization is going to be pushed sooner?
I just really hope they do it right. DC was rushed and like it's completely like, just not done right. So I think I hope and I trust our delegates that they will do the fair and equitable thing. And if it takes a little bit longer, that's okay, but I got faith in them. Hopefully.
How about this question? This is the toughest one I'm going to ask you.
Oh, gosh.
So we know, and you jump in with this, we know that policing and profiling when it comes to cannabis has impacted people of color considerably more than us. In fact, the statistic is a person of color is 3.7 times more likely to be arrested because of cannabis.
Wow.
When compared to a white person.
I didn't know.
And you already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today marijuana is legal to have on your person.
Correct.
An ounce or less in Virginia.
Correct.
Should folks that are currently incarcerated,
absolutely,
African American, Hispanic, white, should their records be expunged?
I believe so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For nonviolent marijuana convictions, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me some perspective on this.
For example, I've got a really good friend. I'll just say his first name, Mike.
Oh, gosh.
He'll
Sure.
know. I love him. But he had gotten in trouble, and it was a very long time ago, and it's done. It's over with. But for a situation like his, it should have never happened.
It was strictly weed possession.
It was just that was it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I just think that I hope they'll be less like strict. They're becoming less strict on it, but I think absolutely that should be taken off the records. 100%. I didn't even know that. That information, I had no idea.
Yeah. Unfortunate statistics. Go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah. So I believe we could say the war on drugs. It fell miserably. Drugs won, but it's a pendulum, right? So years ago, everyone thought it was going to be legal because it's good. Everyone is happy with it, but unfortunately, the pendulum was in that upswing of like crime, you're bad, jail. That's punishment. That's that's the road to retribution and being a good person. Luckily now the pendulum is swinging back, and that's when, and I believe because other states are doing it, and I believe they should do it. And if it means that, like, honestly, if it means that I don't get a license in between it, then I support it, because I believe in fair and equitable distribution of those licenses. And I think that the ones who have been incarcerated for it should absolutely get preference, right? Their experience, right? So while let's take advantage of the pendulum while it's over here and do the right thing, because we've done the wrong thing for so long. Let's just, so I believe that full, my political views, of course, are irrelevant. I'm more like, libertarian. Sorry to offend the view.
All the time on the show.
Okay,
yeah.
The viewers of Charlottesville, who I love, my hometown, born and raised. Yeah. My wife, me, and both of our kids are all born on the 9th floor at UVA Hospital. But at the same time, I have some very strong liberal views, and that's one of them, that I really think that people have been wronged for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's time we do the right thing.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. How about this for you? Big corporations getting the licenses.
That's going to happen.
It is going to happen,
Yeah.
but that seems like the antithesis of what should happen.
It's just... it's gonna.
A big guy's like.
I don't want to open up that can of worms, because I'll start going like down.
Like Philip Morris, for example, has lobbied against legal cannabis
Absolutely.
forever.
Yeah.
Because Philip Morris wanted to protect its market share with cigarettes, and Philip Morris saw cannabis as a threat to their cigarette empire, their tobacco empire. Now the fear is that the folks that were lobbying against legal cannabis, Philip Morris, are the ones that are going to get the license, because they got the infrastructure
lawyers
already in play, the lawyers, the lobbyists to get it.
Yeah.
So Joanna touched on it a little bit. She mentioned that, like, Delta 8 is getting a little bit of bad press out west. Well, what out west is giving it bad press is the big corporations that are in the marijuana game. They're like, oh shoot, here's Delta 8. It's a less psychoactive, less anxiety. Not one's better than the other. I'm not pinning. I think it's good to do them both, because it's kind of like you eat chicken every night and then you go to steak, and then when you go back to chicken, you're like, man, this chicken's really good.
Sure.
So I think you can use them both interchangeably. But it's funny because that still happens even in the marijuana. Like, you think like this, like, very good left industry, or sorry, not left or right, but like this good, like, progressive industry, that they would be doing the right thing. But even now, like, these big brands are like, okay, here's another, like, it's like whoever's top dog is trying to keep everyone else off the hill. And I don't think that's the right business mentality. I think there's, like, why can't we just succeed together? Like, we can. But human emotions like greed and stuff, and envy and pride, like, kind of
Convolute things.
Yeah, and corrupt it. And I've had a lot of people, come to me and, like, they want to be a part of it, whether, like, they think, they can just give a financial contribution, like, they can put their name on it, they can have their say on it. But I don't want that, because I don't want that corruption. Because I know if I do it, I'm going to do it the right way.
So you have people saying, take my money, I want to be a partner. You're not even soliciting them.
No. Yeah.
That shows you that you're in an industry that literally is going to boom. Whitney Wade Payne giving you props. What's on the mind here? I jump in here from a conversation standpoint.
Well, I was just thinking about what David was just talking about, as far as people that are opening dispensaries or CBD dispensaries right now, like how much legal work they have to do to be able to get where they want, because of how strict they are with an alcohol license. I am sure they're just as strict with a marijuana license. I was just kind of thinking about that as you guys were talking. Yeah. I was actually thinking about, what do I need to do so I can make THC spa products? I'm just thinking about that for a second. Yeah. But it's actually you're absolutely right. We're in an industry that's going to boom. Like, anybody that's in this or wants to be a part of it, get with it. Like, it's going to boom, and it's going to be amazing.
Gold rush.
So I got to do this, because if you or anyone friend, family member, is in the CBD industry in any capacity, please have them reach out. Skooma, come by, talk to us. Like, I would love to have any local brand. Of course, it's going to go through our rigorous, COA process and make sure the quality's there and, the reviews are there. But like, especially if you're local, please, like, I would love to have your brand in my cabinets. I'm paying a lot of money to Alan Kajin for that space.
Yeah.
So bring your local product in there and we'll sell it and we'll just do good together.
Alan Kajin, the landlord, guys, and he owns quite a bit of real estate in Charlottesville. Mariah Doyle giving you props. Trey Swan giving you props right now.
Yes.
So, two-part
Sam's
question.
Hot Dog Crozet.
The
Momo's.
Significance of Skooma, the name, how you came up with it. Is this the Elder Scrolls reference here?
I'm gonna avoid any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so yes.
Okay,
yeah,
I understand.
Yeah.
I totally get what you just said there. As someone who has a trademark with I Love CVille. Totally get it. So we'll pass on that question. And then the second part that I was going to ask you is, what is the 3 and 5 year goals for Skooma here?
Yeah. So
Because you're a goal guy.
Right. Yeah. So the dealership. My wife and I refer to it as Montrell Motors. It's the old Airport Motors on 29, right? So I started that with, like I said, just not, a lot of business acumen. I was just, Army veteran, no college, but just go get her, and like, I don't care, like, it's gonna work, it's just, that's just, like,
you got no choice.
Everyone has, like, I wish everyone could say that, it's gonna work, like, when everything you do, when you wake up in the morning, like, today's gonna work, and I promise you start saying that every day, and it just happens. It's not like some trick or anything like that, or like self-help, whatever, just do it. But anyway, so like, where was I going? Okay, so my 4 years at the dealership, I learned, just kind of like rolled with the punches. Sold that. I'm so grateful that Gordon, Maurice, and Rex hired me over at Tiger Field, because in the 3 years I was there, I learned so much about business, and just because that's a company of like, a local company of
huge company.
35 years that they have a dozen employees who have been there for more than 2 decades, or more than that, I think. Yeah. It's just, and that says a lot. Yeah. And so I learned more in those 3 years than I did in the 4 years of running my own, because and that's just
something.
Yeah, because and so it's so nice to like. It was like that was like my crash course on business. So I have like my personal experience of running a business, and then like the legitimate business or experience of running the business, of working for Tiger at the ops level for their car washes and doing the rebrand of Tiger Wash. And so now it's. But once I think you said it perfect when we met the other day. What did you say? When you get a taste of entrepreneurship.
You can never work for somebody else again.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very difficult. Gina Sacco giving you props.
Oh, hi, Gina.
So what do you want to do with the brand?
Oh, yeah, so we're going to grow it. Yeah, so grow it. I want you, if you're driving in a local town, in Richmond or Ruckersville or Charlottesville, and you come across Skooma, I just want you to like instantly just think of a place like, oh, cool. It's like, that's a place like you just feel comfortable, like you don't mind going into their, seat, whether it's CBD or maybe in the future if.
Because I almost think Skooma is like, it's in a lot of ways a neighborhood business. It's almost like your neighborhood bar.
Right.
Like having a Skooma like close to where you live. And
Pantops.
These
Barracks Road.
Right.
Yeah. I mean the corner. We're going to come to you wherever people want us. We're gonna be there. And I think we can do that.
And the downtown mall, to your wife's credit, I think was the best spot to potentially launch, because there's very few places in Charlottesville or Central Virginia. You guys jump in. Can you think of a place in Charlottesville or Central Virginia that is more of a destination spot than the downtown mall? I mean, the Holly Mead's going to come to the downtown mall. Pantop's going to come to the downtown mall. UVA students to the downtown mall. Fry Springs, Belmont to the downtown mall.
Green County residents
County,
will drive that.
Everyone.
That's the spot in Central Virginia that everyone's going to come to. So it's a great way for you to get initial brand awareness. What is the play now for growing the business? You emphasize the customer service.
Right.
What else are you emphasizing?
So everything, I think everything, if you do it right and you delegate effectively, everything's scalable, right? Uh-huh. So like, we're just going to scale it, and hopefully, I don't know, it's just going to work. Like, I don't know if I have a business sentence for it, but I just know that, and from my experience from working with Tiger Field and seeing all the Charlottesville customers and working at the dealership and selling over 700 cars to many people watching this, it's just like, it just works. Like if you just do the right thing, it works. And I know that you're never going to hear that in like an MBA, like, class or anything like that, or anyone who but it just, I don't know.
Respect. Question for you, Joanna. What is the dispensary, let's just say it's 2024. I think we all think it's going to be sooner, retail cannabis. What's the 2024 retail dispensary look like to you?
Well, I think it, like, just in the whole analysis, I feel like it's going to especially go above and beyond dispensary as well. But I feel...
What does that mean?
I mean, I think that they're going to be, as time goes by, they're going to be less strict about, because it's so new. But in the future, to me, 5-10 years from now, I see you to be able to set up at a farmer's market, kind of like how CBD owners do right now. So the question is, people ask, well, will you be able to do this when marijuana is legal? Are you going to be able to be at this farmer's market and sell pot? And that's kind of like a question we don't really know the answer to, because they don't know the answer to, and I'm sure probably the answer would be is no, not right now.
Think so?
Well, for right now, but my thoughts 5 years from now.
I mean, you can sell lettuce, tomatoes, produce.
I hope it will be like this. In my world, I feel like that, especially for the growers, that you can buy a tomato kit set, that your plant will already be planted for you and sprouted in a soil, and you can go up to the market and then you have 5 different choices of a strain, and you just take your little starter plant and there you go. Yeah. And that would be so awesome if, they could do something like that. I love that. But I also feel like that as far before 2024, I'm going to keep saying that,
speak it into the universe.
I will, because I know that with my spa products especially, they're so amazing with the CBD. I just can't imagine what they'll be like with the THC in it or a ratio of it. But I feel like that this is what you said, this business is going to boom and there's going to be more people. And I feel like to make a business grow is to be working with people who want to grow with you. And that's kind of like what David's doing, is he's trying to get a local community in the hemp industry here in the Virginia area so we can all grow together. And that's what I really like about him. Because I know I can't do this alone. I wouldn't have been able to do this without Joe. Joe, I hope you're watching, but Joe's really been huge in my life right now. Everything, I honestly, and I'll give myself credit, but Joe put me up to a challenge and he said, you need to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and I did everything. And here I am a year later, now at a grand opening of Skooma and a beautiful boutique dispensary.
With 2 TV shows and the CVille Weekly watching you on this podcast. Literally.
And I'm excited because David and I were natives to Charlottesville, born and raised. My dad taught him. It's so funny how that worked out. And obviously the universe is telling us that we need to be teaming up together and growing together. And that's what I like. I love working with anyone that just wants to see everybody grow together and do well. That's a good way for success.
Pie's big enough. If not, we'll cook more pie.
Well, exactly.
Bake more pie. My wife's an amazing baker.
Gina Sacco says, so proud of you, Joanna Bressan. Is Keith Campbell, is he one of your team members?
Yes.
Okay. Keith says this, and other people have said this as well. David is a great friend, father, husband, and businessman. He is all about customer service and talking with the people that will give him a second to chat. Lauren says, don't get David going. You'll be there until midnight. He's one of the most passionate people I know. Yeah. Let me throw that to you. Your passion is such an asset for you. Mm-hmm. Like anyone that comes across you, you give them 10 seconds of being in your energy stratosphere, and
Can you feel it?
You can feel the passion.
Can you feel it right now?
I love it. I absolutely love it.
It radiates 24/7.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. How do you keep that passion? You got a new business. You're not sure. You're speaking it into the universe, but you're not sure if the business is going to work. I think it will.
I'm 100% positive.
I think it will too. You got, is it 2 kids?
2 wonderful, I put their names on my arm so I wouldn't forget. No, Luca Alexander and Eleanor May, Ellie May.
You got a beautiful wife, you got a family.
She's amazing.
You got some investment properties?
Some rental properties.
Yeah. So you got a lot of the line there.
Yeah. Well, and so much of it, I know I keep talking and but
You got a lot on the line. Is that safe to say?
Oh, yeah.
You got a lot on the line.
Oh, yeah.
You got a contract. Alan Kajine's got the best properties in Charlottesville. Anyone who knows Alan Kajine, he watches the show regularly.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows Alan Kajine knows his leases are buttoned up.
Yeah.
We all know that, Alan.
Yeah.
You got a lot on the line here.
Yeah.
How do you manage the pressure and what you have on the line and the people that you have counting on you for food, for mortgage, for shelter, for quality of life,
Yeah.
and still keep this passion and energy?
Because it's all about having the right team. So like Montrell Motors, I can point blank say would have failed if it wasn't for my wife, Kirsty. You know, she came in when I was like, I think it was like 6 or 8 months into it. No, not even that long. And I was like, imagine this energy, but not contained. And so there was like, I was disorganized and, you know, and it's okay. Not everyone, you know, everyone just has their own strengths and weaknesses. But
You're the big idea guy.
Yes.
You're the vision guy, you're the macro guy.
She came in
Yeah.
and she laid that law down and she got everything organized and she got paperwork and she got processes and she got like, I mean, just the littlest things which you don't realize how important they are to the success of our business. She like was just knocking them out, and we're such a good team on that.
You guys are a good
yeah,
team.
you can see because
Yeah.
I'll be in the dispensary and I'll be talking to customers or the dealership talk, you know, and she'll keep me in line and focused and on track because I get very, you know,
Big picture.
Yeah, yeah,
That's great.
And so not just her, but Keith Campbell has been instrumental. He's been doing, you know, busting his butt to get that place ready. Maya, which is Lauren's wonderful daughter, my niece, she's been busting her butt.
Oh, Lauren's your sister.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you know, everyone, Becca, Kenny, Mark. We have a whole team that's just great, and everyone wants to be there, and everyone wants to succeed together. It's a really good energy in there, and if you come in, I promise you'll get a taste of it.
How about this guy's passion and energy and how
It's
you've
amazing.
seen it?
I mean, if he didn't have it, like entrepreneurs got to have that passion and energy. If you are in a business that you created that you don't have passion or energy about, say goodbye to it because it's not going to get you very far.
Well said.
You have. That's why I like David, because he's very passionate about what he's doing. That was the first thing I heard through the phone call we had when we had a little meeting. And I was like, I like this guy because it's nice to find other people that are passionate about the same thing that I am. And it's so much fun because we're all learning this together because it's all new for Virginia. And it's exciting, and it's going to be a growing lessons, and it's going to be awesome.
How about this question? Similar one that I just threw to David. You said a 1 and 2 year old.
I do. Autumn and Azalea.
And a single mom?
Yes.
Single mom with a 1 or 2 year old. Autumn and Azalea, you have a lot on the line.
I do. I've got a lot. So
You started your business during a
I've
pandemic.
got my business, and then I also work with Joe and Lee, and then I have my little girls full time Sunday through Fridays, and yeah, so I stay pretty busy, but it's nice to have support all around. Because I wouldn't be able to do it without the support that I have, including my parents. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them.
Me too.
They were,
Almost.
and,
No,
and David, and my dad was just like, you gotta go, and I'm like, Dad, you do realize that your daughter, everybody knows my dad. There's probably somebody on this that's watching it that knows Bobby Bressan. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to expose to Charlottesville that I'm in the cannabis industry. And he's like, oh, all right, that's fine. It's like, it's fine. But like, they're with my girls right now. One of them was like under the weather. But anyway, so yeah, and I have support all around, and I keep myself busy. And I didn't have the passion and the energy and the drive that David does. I wouldn't be able to keep up with anything. But like when you become a mom, you sacrifice your whole life, and you do whatever you can to make sure everybody's taken care of, and that's important.
Perfect. That was so well said.
Yeah.
Moms are superheroes. So our son was born in Martha Jefferson. 36 hours of labor, 3 epidurals that didn't take.
Oh my
and once
gosh.
I saw my little guy come out of my wife,
Best
I was
feeling in the
like, I
world.
could never do this. Women should rule the world. Moms are superheroes and can do stuff that dads cannot do.
Well, I didn't tell you, my girls are almost 11 months apart. They're 10 and a half.
So these are like Irish twins here.
Yeah, so one's one and two, yeah. So yeah, it's a learning experience for me because they both hit their toddler stage and it's just like, wow, nobody, it's like hard keeping up with them, but it's a lot of fun and there's so much joy in it because every day they learn a new word or a new color or a new shape and it's so exciting to be like, oh, like I was able to help teach them that.
Nice,
and it's so rewarding.
Right,
Yeah.
and you have to like cling to those little things because it's brutally difficult.
It's true.
Throw this to you, and then I'll get back to David. How about businesswoman, entrepreneur, built a brand, and being this incredible role model for your girls? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, so I've had a lot, yeah, so as far as, well, hold on, maybe I just misunderstood.
I mean, you're just like, you're a badass.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, they see their mom as launching something from scratch and growing it.
Well, I'm excited because I plan for this to be a family adventure when they're old enough to, to learn the secrets and to have this grow as time goes by. Like, I don't want it to just be I want this to be long term. And I want it to be passed down with family and good friends because I feel like Jojo's Apothecary has, I mean, you don't even know. I have so many good ideas as far as creating a CBD-infused pickle. And then eventually I'm going to make a medicinal pickle. And I'm really excited about it because I have a background in pickling with my brother in D.C. So it's like this industry is endless with the things you can do with it. Like as far as putting it in food or even for people that are in spas. This is a good time for you guys to start thinking about, hey, do we want to add a CBD massage feature onto our menu for the future? These are things that people are wanting for that. Actually, they don't want to do pain. Like, I mean, everybody is different, but they're looking for more of a holistic route, right? So it's, endless with the things you can do with the cannabis plant. You don't have to just get high off of it. You can make clothing with it. You can make makeup with it. You can make shampoo and conditioner with it. You can do so many things. And it's exciting because it's just like, there's so many amazing things about the more I think about it, about the cannabis plant and the hemp plant, I'm just like, wow, like it is here for us. And I don't think cannabis is a gateway drug. I think there is a bad rep with cannabis right now, and I think that's something that some people are going to have to let go of. But to me, I don't think it is a gateway drug at all. And so people get the bad rep of it where they're thinking, oh, they're just smoking it or getting high off of it. But what they don't understand is there are so many other things you can do.
The healing qualities,
the
anxiety qualities.
That's why I like to topically apply CBD. Eventually I'd like to experiment in making Delta-8 bath bombs and all of that. And then eventually doing THC spa products. But I love to topically apply CBD onto me. I will eat a gummy, but when you apply it onto your body like a salve, you feel quick results. You feel instant relaxation wherever you're inflamed or feeling any kind of pain, and that's why I love to topically apply it. But I don't know where I got into that from to topically applying it. But what I was meaning to say is just there's so much you can do with it, and like if anybody is trying to figure out what am I going to do next in life, maybe I want to invest in something different, do it. If you're passionate about growing things, if you're passionate about the marijuana plant, if you're passionate about hemp, just do it because it's so much fun, y'all. I'm having so much fun doing this. I'm always constantly coming up with different ideas, and I feel very blessed to be able to have some of the ideas like the pickle. Like I'm doing that. I've already looked. I would be one of the first in the area doing a CBD now there's CBD infused pickle juice and all that out there, but there isn't a CBD infused pickle yet. And so anyway, I'm just really, my mind is blown just sitting here rambling and talking about cannabis. I never thought I would ever do that at a I Love Charlottesville. It's just, I probably I went through my mischief when I was in high school and stuff like that. It's just so how far we've come to where we are right now. It's just like something that everyone's just going to have to learn to adapt to if they're not for it. And I respect that if you're not, but it's just, it's a plant and it's here to help us.
And it's here to stay.
Yeah.
Johnny Epps, Joanna works so hard all the time and kills it. She's very driven and well-spoken. He's giving you props on the show.
So I'll give props to Johnny. He's with Chocolate Odyssey Chocolate, and his chocolate is amazing.
There
oh
we
my
go.
Gosh.
There
So
we
thank
go.
you, Johnny.
The questions coming in, how has the city of Charlottesville been with your business and opening your business on the mall?
Well, we're about 2 hours in, so I could let you know. But every single person that, like, if I'm outside cleaning the windows or...
They mean City Hall.
Oh, City Hall. I'm sorry. So I got a Charlottesville, business license.
So no resistance.
No, I even just as like a precautionary thing, and I didn't want to like poke a fire, but just like because I know there's a lot of information, a lot of like concerns and stuff like that. The public communications officer for the Charlottesville Police Department, I sent him an email with all the certificate of analyses. So that way, like, he was not too thrilled about it, or, he didn't, I don't think he was very receptive or even cared that I did it. But it was just kind of like the transparency thing. Like, look, there might be some information, but everything in this store is CBD or CBD derivative, and it's legal, and it's tested. There's nothing, there's no, snake oil or fly by night, or we stand behind our products because we go through a long process to pick those products.
Good answer. Cindy Thomas giving you props.
Hey, Cindy.
Angel Garcia says you are the absolute best.
Oh.
I served with him in Iraq as well. So.
Let me throw this to you.
Garcia,
here.
love you, man.
Garcia, thank you for your service, sir. Where do you think the whole space is going to go? I mean, I envision, and this is good throw this to you as well, Joanna, it's like, we're going to be at a time where we're going to go to a restaurant, and the restaurant is going to have like a CBD or cannabis-infused menu.
Yeah.
So for those that want a CBD or cannabis-infused menu, you could get this particular menu. If you don't want that menu, you get a different one.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
it's
could
gonna be
have
so awesome.
appetizers or first course that generates appetite, and then as the courses progress toward the end of the meal, maybe it's a dessert that's more sleep focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's encouraging rest for those that have a hard time sleeping at the end. I totally see that happening.
Jared, did you just pitch a restaurant idea me and you could be partners in? Is that a deal?
Do you see that happening?
I'm right on board with you with that.
So Kirsty, she has probably more fans than I do. She bakes amazing cupcakes, and anyone who's had her cupcakes will tell you, at the Crozet Farmers Market, right next to...
Is that where you guys live?
We live in Crozet, yeah, and Emerald Ridge is absolutely beautiful. I'm so lucky that I get to, walk out and see I get overwhelmed with gratitude because of how amazing of an area we live in. And she went to Johnson & Wales for baking and pastry arts. She did really well in the culinary arts class. I was a little, as you can tell, a little distracted, so my culinary didn't take off as much as she did, but yeah, so she bakes some amazing cupcakes, and she has a huge following every Saturday at the farmer's market. Between 8 and 12, she sells out every Saturday.
So you're saying eventually having her cupcakes, cannabis infused, sold at Skooma.
Yeah, and Delta infused. We're working on it. Everything has to be done the right way, so I want to make sure we go through the proper channels, City Hall and all licensing. Yeah. So you're just gonna do it the right way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like bakers and chefs, it's time to kind of do something a little bit different.
Come talk. Yeah,
I'm telling you, like what Jerry just explained with the menu. That's something they do out west. That's just that's a trend.
Mike next door. So like I'm.
Mike at Rapture?
Yeah. Okay. So it's how cool it is being able to open a store next to someone who's been there like for 22, 23 years.
Also a Kajin-owned property.
Oh yeah, because we share the
wall.
We share the wall, and hopefully we're gonna share customers and a lot of positive energy. And I feel bad for him because he'll be out at the host stand, helping customers, and we'll get a new product in, or we'll put up a new display case, and I'll like grab his arm and say, Mike, come see, and like bring him inside because the paper's still up. Like, look, what do you think about this? Because I think so highly of him because he's been there for 22 years, so he knows the people that walk by, he knows the market, so it's so nice to be able to like piggyback on someone with that much experience and be next to him. And so him and Cece came over, and she's
great.
Yeah, and she even dropped like a martini idea or so, some sort of like infused alcoholic drink. Yeah, of course, we're not going to do it until everything's done right. But like, I mean, that's it. Like we can, like, why can't we? You guys are going to kill it. You guys are A+ people. How about we close with what Charlottesville means to you guys? I'll give you a moment to think about this. I'll do a tease for tomorrow's show. Start with you on what Charlottesville means to you, and then finish with you. Okay.
Tomorrow, we have a gentleman that is running for state delegate on the show tomorrow, wow. Philip Andrew Hamilton at 12:30. So if this guy who is running against Sally Hudson, if Philip beats Sally, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, or if Sally beats Philip, Sally's the incumbent, these folks will determine retail cannabis and whether or not it's moved sooner than 2024, which I think we all see that happening. Why you would allow, and this is me talking, this is not him talking, this is not her talking, this is me talking, why you would allow an ounce or less on your person, or why you would allow 4 plants to be grown at home, but not the retail piece, makes no sense to me. If anything, it's strengthening the black market by giving every Tom, Dick, and Harry the opportunity to grow, and then
what am I going to do with all this?
Generate the revenue for themselves, and the Commonwealth does not get a cut of that revenue.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the tax revenue that's going to come from cannabis when it is legal, guess where it's going to go? It's going to go to schools.
Sweet.
Like the lotto, the Virginia lottery, those proceeds go to schools. So delegates that watch the show, move it up. What you're doing is just making the black market stronger right now. Let's move it up. Yeah. Charlottesville and what it means to you.
Charlottesville is a part of my childhood. I moved a lot, like in my 20s, and came back a couple years ago. But being here, something about just being surrounded by the Appalachian Mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains, hits the spot for me. It brings back my childhood. It brings back all my happy memories. And most of all, it makes me feel closer to my family. Because I'm one of 8 children. We're kind of all spread out. And when we all come home, it feels so nice when we can all be together. So yeah, like my childhood, and of course culinary, because this is where it all started for me. And that now CBD. So yeah.
I like it. Good answer. Same one for you?
No, similar along the lines, born and raised in Charlottesville, and so it's home, I could tell you all the streets that, I used to ride our bike down the mall. It's so crazy, like, coming down here and, being that kid and then being able to turn the key to a storefront on the downtown mall is nuts, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the American dream.
Yeah. No, well, I think the American dream is whatever you think it is, And
what's your American dream?
You touched on it lightly, like when you saw your son, like that. For anyone who has experienced that, will know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyone that hasn't, I probably won't be able to do an accurate job to convey it. But it's like your entire, like it's an instant rush where like everything, your priorities, everything just shifts. It doesn't change or like. It doesn't go bad or good. It's just, it shifts. So I'm thinking, long term, and I want to just, provide the best economic possibilities for my kids. And, my dad, I'm the youngest of 5 brothers and a sister. And my dad worked really hard, and my mom did an awesome job raising us. But, we didn't have a lot. So I think that seeing that like really helped ignite my entrepreneur spirit and see how hard my dad worked and like what he did,
How about your parents now? How proud are you? Proud of them.
My mom passed away, but my dad, yeah, he's very proud. Yeah, he's been at Crutchfield for like 20 some years, and so but he's definitely proud, and he'll come by and like visit and stuff like that, and at the dealership, and just because and I can't wait for that day to happen to where like I can interact with my son. So like the electrician, who was installing the lights, they did an awesome job, and I don't want to like mess up anyone's name, but like it was the father-son duo, and I was like, man, that guy has like to be able to work with his adult son like that. Like
awesome.
how rewarding is that to like have that kind of relationship and get to talk to him every.
Lindsay and Eric?
No, so I shouldn't even mention that.
You don't have to mention.
Yeah, I'm blanking on the names, but yeah, I mean, just like that, like it's just such a, or like Tiger Field, you know, like for David Sutton to be able to give his wildly successful
Gordon
company
and
to Gordon and Taylor,
Yeah.
and for him to give them full trust, which he has. He's like, look, this is your operation. And again, I don't know their like dynamic, but I know that David did a really good job raising both of them, and I want to be that. I want to be able to raise my kids humble, to be their own success, and whatever that is. It doesn't have to be business or financial. Like if their success, whatever it is, I want them to be able to follow that, and I don't want like financial means to be a hindrance. So it can be done.
That was fantastic.
Sorry,
answer.
I rambled.
No,
But
I love it. These are two brands that you guys
Skooma, yeah.
got to know, you got to follow. Skooma, follow them on the downtown mall. Jojo's Apothecary.
Yes.
Follow her on Facebook and Instagram. Derek Brody says, that's right. Great work,
Brother.
everyone. So proud of my brother. David, is that the brother
That's
I met? On the
one of my brothers. No, I think you met Daniel.
Okay.
Who
gotcha.
still works for Tiger, and he's an awesome influence. Well, he works for Alt Energy, but they got acquired. But yeah, I got a lot. And the family is so supportive. I'm sure your family is the same way, but like, I mean, all my brothers and sisters, they just like, you know, they're just, it feels so good to have them on my side.
I wish you, that is awesome to have. I wish you guys the best of luck.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously,
thanks
thank
for
you for joining
having
us. It
me,
was fun.
letting me join. David, thanks for asking me to come.
Oh,
It's
you're
kinda
welcome. Thank
exciting.
you for your input and your knowledge. You know, thank you for sharing that with everyone.
You totally made the show better.
Oh,
Yeah.
I sincerely mean that. Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you for joining us. And David, too. So they're open. Go to Skooma now. Buy all of Jojo's CBD from Skooma. So she has
Delta
it's
8.
a re-up with her. Buy it all. Let's sell them out.
We have half gram pre-rolls, 1 gram, and 1.5 grams pre-rolls. So come on down.
7
and get
days
them.
a week?
7 days a week. We're everything's malleable, so we're gonna adjust our hours. But I think it's looking like again, it's up to you guys. You know, when you come see us, we want to be
Open.
available to you.
Yeah.
But it's definitely gonna, you know, everything in the business is gonna be like that. You know, we're just, you know, if we're doing this and it's not taking off and the customers want this, we're just gonna adjust.
I mean, your busiest time could be night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're next to Rapture.
So
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm
bar
saying.
scene will like to have a little bit of extra
So
fun.
we're thinking like
That's what I was thinking.
11 to 8, 11 to 9 during the week, and then Friday, Saturday like
Go
like
to last call.
11. Oh yeah.
Would you go that late?
If you want to be my HR director and
Well,
hire
no, I'm
hire
just
people
saying,
to do it, then
I agree with what she just said.
Yeah.
When
you
the bars
want that
let out.
nightlife.
Yeah.
For I will say, breweries and such do very well when you have
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah.
of public, because people that I know, like
Yeah.
I've drank before. I don't know about you guys, but
Yes.
I like to have a little bit of extra fun sometimes. So if I'm right
Yeah.
next to a dispensary,
Yeah.
you know, especially when pot's legalized, man,
Yeah.
people are gonna be like, oh, we're gonna run over there
Yeah.
and go grab a pre-roll or whatever. It's exciting. It's so cool. You wouldn't know.
Is it Kristen Slater?
Yeah.
She said Ostara.
Ostara.
And I love you, Jojo.
Aw.
Great job on all your success. And there's more comments like this that we're not going to get to. We appreciate you guys watching the show. Support the businesses that are making the community better, and both of their businesses are making Central Virginia better for all of us. Keep your business local in the community, because every dollar spent with a locally owned business stays within the community. Whether that's new jobs, they're growing their businesses, whatever. it
Preschool
may be.
tuition.
Yeah, there we go.
to Millstone, it's
Yeah.
all absolutely. Everything's done local.
Keep it local.
Sorry.
Tomorrow, a gentleman running for state delegate, Philip Andrew Hamilton. And then on Monday, we will talk with Paul McCarter. His wife and himself were instrumental in keeping the 5th grade at Mountain View Elementary. There was discussion that the 5th grade was going to be removed from Mountain View Elementary and put into Burley Middle because of overpopulation issues, but they are in fact going to stay at Mountain View. That story comes at you on Monday. Thank you for joining us today on the I Love CVille Show. Take care. Yep. You were awesome.
Hey, thank you.
Awesome. Good work, man. You were awesome, baby. You were awesome. We're going to take a group look.